Let's talk about aesthetics. This is for superstars. If your aesthetics are all wrong, you'll be a rich bum. A rich bum. And these be the main ones that talk about how everybody else is bummy because they got money, because they're getting money. But it's your mannerisms and how you conduct yourself that'll really let a person know whether you're rich or poor. You can have not a dime to your name and still have a rich personality, because like true riches, true wealth as a person, it don't have anything to do with money. Yeah. Money is nothing but an enhancer of things. It doesn't make or break you. You don't want to be a rich bum, because ultimately this is what happens with the bulk of the hip-hop genre in particular, because that's the genre that I've been assigned to by the Most High as a double agent of the Most High. You ever heard of wolf in sheep's clothing? Well, this is like sheep and wolves clothing. Or like, it's the reverse of that, you know what I mean? It's the reverse of wolves and sheep clothing. There's no deception. It's not me literally trying to play either side, actually. It's about being on your own side, not really having a side, but at the same time, you can be palatable to both sides at the same time, because they see you as uniquely different enough to override any differences between what's considered rich and what's considered poor. Now, if you got a rich soul, you'll never really be looked at as poor. But you will have people where no matter how much money they have, they're still going to be bums, because that's a mannerism thing. What happens when the crowd stop cheering, when the crowd ain't screaming your name out here for you superstars? What happens when your next project is mid? What happens when after you done with your mixtapes, now that you signed the big label, your stuff sound a little bit too clean, a little bit too pop, and all your swagger gone, because the swagger was in the bummy, grungy, gritty energy. Yeah, we like to say, yeah, it's grimy, it's gully, it's real. But listen, it's bummy. Yeah, it's bummy if it's destructive. Even if your stories is true, it's still bummy. It deals with loss. So and now it's up to you to roll like that. But remember though, you get what you say. So you can harp on how you used to be the bad guy and end up confused to why you still suffering the fate of a bad guy. There's telling your story, and then there's glorifying an ugly past. And a lot of times it's marketable to glorify a past that's grimy. Sure, you have an over influx of that in hip hop. So this is why you don't really see any rappers dressed like me, or rappers that are talking like I'm talking, because hip hop on a commercial is not meant for that. That's not what's being pushed on the mainstream. Yeah, you got your conscious ones out there, but they got to be like on some hibbity bibbity, and not, they can't really swag up. Not on the main stage, because that's not what's being painted. Well, now what happens if you get real conscious rap? You're going to build a grassroots industry. That's what's going to happen. And I'm not saying that the media machine doesn't want that, but I'm just saying that the media machine doesn't really push that. If you go right now in your search bar and you type in hip hop and you let me know what come up, you know, I bet you it won't be Super T Sigma. I bet you that. Because this, while I'm putting it out there all day, every day for the free and keeping the hand open for the donations at the same time, this is exclusive, is elite. It's not exclusive because I'm trying to cut people off from it. It's exclusive because, for one, I'm an unknown on the big stage. And then for two, this is not what they push. And I know that too. I know that. It's intentionally not being pushed. Not this kind of rap. And that's good because that's how I want it. I don't want to get bunched in with everything you hear all the time. This is not drill. This is not gangster. You know, this is not horrorcore. It's not even neo soul. You know what I mean? This is not necessarily, this is not back to Africa rap or nothing like that. This is not that. This is good old MCing for the sake of MCing. But really bringing it, like, I'm treating it like the standard for the industry is Rakim. That's how I approach hip hop, because I'm coming from that cloth of real wordsmiths. And I think there's a happy medium to be had between swagger and wordsmithing. Yep. There's a happy medium there that really hasn't been met. The industry will try to create this, produce this, but you can't create this from inside the industry, because there's allegedly things that have to happen in the industry that's going to take away your stripes to have a right to come off with it like that, all the way conscious. How you going to be coming out as a conscious rapper, and if in order for you to be a conscious rapper you had to do some things at some parties and they got you on tape? How could you, you know what I mean? You don't even have the mantle. You have the mantle as their artist, but you're no longer the Most High's artist. You're no longer the organic person. You've been plucked out and regrafted, and what you've been grafted into is not your original tree, no matter how much you relate to it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically what you want to pay attention to when you in your craft. And don't be content, be happy with what you have, because you can get rich without fame. This is one of the big hidden mysteries of this whole thing. You could get rich without fame. As a matter of fact, you can only get rich without fame. These folks here, they flashing their money. They Bentley after Bentley after Bentley after Maybach after Maybach. I like what I see in the videos too, the aesthetics. I like all the chains, all the rings. I like all the Celine outfits. I like all of that. It's fly. But I'm not about to get none of that. Even if I have money to get that, I ain't about to get that. I'm going straight to the clearance rack and I'm dressing like this because I look better in this than they do in their Gucci and their Louis. This is a American Eagle shirt. And I ain't seen a rapper, no matter how many chains they had on, and they not looking like this. And it's not even me like trying to be on some vanity, but I'm just saying a shirt, some slacks, you know what I mean? Like, you keep it simple. Keeping it simple goes a long way. It don't even really matter what the labels is how do you rock it and how do you feel and how do you look. And are you authentic, man? You see these folks with blazers, man, they can't even form a full sentence. So how they gonna look like the real businessmen that the label is proposing them to, because they want to tell us and sell us the dream that because they in the game for a little while that they all of a sudden elevating to the next level. They're not elevating to the next level. That's why they got to do all them shows, because the albums ain't getting enough off the albums, so they gotta be everywhere away from their families. You know, I don't represent that. I'm gonna be the rapper who could be with his family just about every day. You know what I mean? That's the lane that, you know, I believe in. Like, yo, you don't gotta be away from your peoples. If you got it like that, take them with you. If you got it like that, road trip. If you making millions, you know, why is anybody in your household working? They should be all unemployed and let them hang with you. You know, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, me and daddy go to the studio every day. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, me and daddy just, we travel all the time. We travel all the time. You know, your kid, your spouse, y'all traveling everywhere. You know what I mean? You got to get your Brady Bunch on for real. Because, again, you know how many facets in life is here to try to break up the family, to break up the nuclear. You know about the nuclear missile program? I told you in another video. Don't let entertainment be anything different. Don't let that be the missile that blows your home apart. And you got this family member this way, that family member that way, this family member that. Nobody's a unit. They just coming up under the same roof with different agendas at the end of the day. So to avoid all of this, somebody's got to stand and make the regular man popular again. Make the regular man popping. The regular, average Joe, as they say, the average Joe. It's time for the average Joe to be a superstar. This is what social media is all about. This is why there's a TikTok. This is why there's a YouTube. This is why there's a Rumble, a Twitter. This is why there's a IG. It's the idea that regular people are superstars too. They just have to tap into what it is. But as far as this hip hop, be whatever you want to be. But, word of encouragement for those who dare to be different, turn the tides, who didn't sign, who they don't have on them tapes, who they can't blackmail. For all of y'all, go ahead and be different and push it to as many people. And don't be afraid of the word no. A lot of people sign deals because they don't want to hear the word no. They don't want people to tell them no in their face. They can't handle it. They can't handle people saying, all right, I'm straight. They can't handle saying, yo, check out the Super T Sigma page, and you go there weeks and weeks later, they ain't check you out. They can't handle those no's. They take those no's personally. You got to be able to keep pushing, man. It's billions of people on the planet. What's 25 no's? What's 50 no's? What's 100 no's? What's 1,000 no's? It's nothing. Push through. I guarantee you somebody like it. Yo, there's millions of people, billions of people on the planet who like the fact that somebody's doing something. And don't let it be positive. Don't let you be saying something. You done struck gold. I'm telling you, it's people that's bleeding for a new form of hip hop. These folks is even saying that hip hop is dead. Nah, hip hop ain't dead. The parts of hip hop that is dead, they're deader. And that's all it is. But hip hop ain't dead. Shoot, there's whole other untapped realities in hip hop, perspectives, swaggers, viewpoints, styles that have not been addressed. It's only been the streets and the club for the most part. You know what I mean? How many Kendricks are there? I'm gonna tell you how real it is. It's so overdone, the mainstream hip hop, that a whole bunch of them want to sing now. Even the rappers are tired of rapping. They ready to get R&B. They trying calypso. You know what I mean? They willing to put their whole brand on the line because the monotony is just too much to handle. There's only so many girlfriends you can have. There's only so many supermodels you could date, superstars you can date. And when you find out, when you're done with all of that, you could still get dissed. When you find out after all of that, you could still flop. You could be seen with every single superstar hugged up. You could be hanging out with billionaires. You could still flop. People could buy your streams and make you go platinum. And the own label you signed to could buy a couple million of them. And you could still flop. You could still be here today and going tomorrow, even after going viral. It's real. You gotta really be authentic. This gimmick stuff, I'm not here saying that it has to stop, but I'm saying that gimmick stuff it's going to be a hard act to follow for anybody who wants to brand themselves based off gimmicks. Because where there's gimmicks, there's limits. Super T Sigma programming. Stay wise.